name's Sarah Broad. As she said, I'm a shift supervisor at the first unionized corporate Starbucks in Canada. And I am the unit chair, as well as I was a member of the bargaining committee. I would like to start by acknowledging and paying respect to the Algonquin people whose land I have the privilege of visiting and who have been the protectors of the land since the beginning. I am visiting from the unceded territory of the Lekwungen-speaking people, the Songhees, Esquimalt, and Wasanich people whose connections to the land are strong and historical. In the summer of 2020, my coworkers and I were feeling extremely burnt out and overwhelmed with the challenges that the pandemic was bringing forward. We were used to being treated poorly, but harassment was at an all-time high, with stresses about the pandemic being felt by everyone, and with us being an easy target. We were constantly being told that we were essential, but we were treated worse than ever before, as well as not receiving the benefit of early access to vaccines like other essential workers were. We had voiced our concerns to management with no avail, even being told that our face shields weren't allowed and were somehow actually a hazard. It was at this point that we decided to take the matters into our own hands, and we contacted the United Steelworkers. They excitedly welcomed us. After a strong majority in favor, we started the long process of bargaining and were able to come up with our first ever collective agreement. We successfully bargained for some amazing things like stronger health and safety language, 10 domestic violence leave days, and better wages. During the process, we faced a lot of pushback from Starbucks. Many emails about their disappointment in us and how we were ruining the company culture. And I even got the pleasure of meeting the vice president of Starbucks Canada, who was so excited to finally meet me. I'm sure the only reason she knew my name wasn't because I was on the bargaining committee. During this stressful time of meeting with Starbucks to bargain and being berated by the company, one of the things that kept our spirits high was the support that we were seeing from the community. We'd have customers come through telling us how excited they were, news outlets reaching out because they wanted to cover the story, and some support on social media as well. In my eyes, social media is a huge part of keeping this movement going. Seeing Starbucks workers united in the United States has been so exciting. Their social media presence is great and so inspiring, and seeing the support that they're getting from their politicians like Bernie Sanders and AOC gives me so much hope for the possible support that we could receive here. I can't wait to see how this continues to unfold for them. Social media is great because it helps bring information to a wide range of people, and I honestly think that one of the biggest things that will help the service industry's labor movement is easier access to information. Something I found when we were first looking into unionizing is that I had to explain what it meant to most of my peers. I was lucky that my mom was very active in her union while I was a kid, so I knew some of what was going on, the benefits of being unionized. But most people around me that are my age have no idea what it means to be a part of a union. The only thing that they had heard about were the classic company-fed arguments against it, like having to pay union dues and that a union disrupted the communication in a workplace. When I would sit down and explain why unions were so important and how they were one of the only ways to actually have a say in what goes on in your workplace, people were shocked and really excited for us. This told me that there's a huge lack of education and that the conversation around unions and the most popular narrative among people my age is the only one that is being spouted by the businesses. If we want the union movement to be successful in the service industry, we need to plan an organizing movement that is accessible and offers information on the benefits of a union to young people. We also need to let them know that their time and labor is worth it. The narrative around service workers is that their labor is unskilled and that they don't deserve to make a living wage because they aren't educated enough, or because the service industry isn't supposed to be a career. Why are we able to look at these people and tell them that they're essential while not treating them like their labor is worth anything? We need to change the way that we talk about people in the service industry so others can start to, but also so they can start to see the value in their own labor, and so that they can realize that it's worth it for them. It's important to be able to have a say, and it's important to be respected in your workplace. I plan to continue to spread information I have about unions to my peers and to try and keep an open and honest conversation around unionizing going. I want to bring the perspective with me as we continue to organize the service industry. One of the most beneficial things to me was when we were starting out in our efforts of unionizing, that people would sit down and take the time to educate me in the places where I lacked the information, and they were encouraging me. So please stop and talk about it. Let the people in your life know that their time and labor is worth more than they are told. We can't continue to call service workers essential while calling their labor unskilled and constantly disrespecting them. Something my partner and I talk about often is how unionizing holds the power to transform how we view the service industry. Labor work used to be viewed as unskilled as well, but over time, because of unions, people now view those positions with respect. Unionizing the service industry is a great way to change the narrative around service workers and to acknowledge them as the skilled professionals that they are. Thank you.